when I go through something hard, I'm like, you know what? I went through something hard. It sucked, but I was able to help someone because of it. And it just makes it kind of worth it.
Everyone, welcome back to Visions to Ventures. I'm your host, the one and only Javier. Just kidding. I want to have so many cool guests. This is season 2, and I just have so many cool guests that are coming into this season, and I just want to be able to share their unique creativity and also just them as a person and share their story. So I have a good guest here, awesome, that I just barely met real quick, but her name's Coco. So Coco, I want you to share who you are, what you do, and yeah, they'll go from there.
Okay, yeah. I'm Coco. I am a educator for hair. I like to call myself a men's hair enthusiast
Okay.
because I really love cutting men's hair. But I started out doing, I'm a cosmetologist. And so I started out doing like color and things. And so I basically spent a lot of my time educating, and I am also a content creator. I like to brand myself on social media and kind of just show my life and have fun with it and go from there. But yeah, that's really what I do. I just like to have fun and get paid for it.
Hey, that's the best thing, right? If you
Yeah.
love what you do, then it's just like the money is the plus. Is
Yeah.
that what I'd like to say? So how'd you get into, like, has it always been like a passion for you, or it just
To do
what
hair?
you do now? Yeah, to do hair.
Oh, yes. So I've been wanting to do hair since I was like, I want to say like 12, 13, 14, like really early. I have a lot of sisters, and I've always just been kind of like a girly girl type of like person anyways. But it just was really interesting to me to see how much like creative looks you can give someone based on hair and makeup and nails and just all the things like that. So I've always been interested in that. I'm the oldest of my mom's seven kids, and so she kind of had high expectations, I think, of me in high school and stuff. And so I actually wanted to go to the cosmetology program through my high school because I could
Mm,
graduate with my beauty license and my high school diploma. And 20 years ago, the hair industry wasn't as respected as it is now. And, she gave me the whole, you're too smart to be a hairstylist.
mm.
And so, I was heartbroken, but I was like, you know what? Maybe she's right or whatever. So then I, did another program, got out of school, and I actually went to college, business colleges, and I said business colleges because I hopped around from like 2 community ones because I just wasn't happy. I was just trying to
Yeah.
find like, what I wanted to do. And then I wasn't until I was 23 years old that I was like, you know what, mom, I'm going to beauty school. Like, I want to do it. It's going to make me happy. And at this point, she's like, if you just do something and complete it, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so I went to beauty school, and I haven't looked back since. I've just been doing it since 2010, and it's been great. It's been a real joy in my life, real blessing.
Yeah. And I totally understand with all parents. I feel like um it's I had, with my sister, like, I want to do this, I want to do like hairstylist. Like, no, don't do that. But it's changed, and I totally agree. It's like now it's
Mhm.
like you see how someone can be creative and show who they are through styling someone's hair. And
Yeah, totally.
yeah, and for me, it's like I want to go and just be like, cut my hair, do whatever you feel like it's good, and that's it.
Mhm.
And I'll be happy with it.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So how is it that you went from, like, I mean, I know you still you're still cut hair, but like I seen on your Instagram, you kind of more educate and also that content creator. So how is it that you combine those together?
So it's so funny because doing hair kind of comes with a bunch of other things. I feel like hairstylists and barbers would wear a lot of hats. And I found a capsule, way back when I was in middle school. And the 3 occupations I wanted to be was a hairstylist, a therapist, or a photographer. That was like my three goals. And you are a hairstylist in all those. I mean, you're a photographer, a psychiatrist sometimes. And so I feel like I can kind of do all of them, but I've just always grown up having this like feeling of doing something more, of like helping people, being the oldest. I kind of have like the oldest sibling, like mama bear syndrome.
Yeah.
And so I actually, really loved going to school. I was in my young 20s, partying up and not being, very smart with my decisions. And I actually had a beauty school teacher call me like towards the end of my time every day to wake me up. She's like, get to school, you're almost graduating, like come get your hours. Because if you're not familiar with how you obtain a beauty license, you have to complete like a certain amount of hours requirement. And so, anyways, I just had a lot of very like impactful people in my life during beauty school. And when I graduated, I actually wanted to go back, and I did a year later for my educator license. So I actually got double license. And it was just always something in the back of my mind that that's what I wanted to do. Like, I just have always had this like strong passion of helping others. And, I want everyone to win. I want everyone to be successful. And it wasn't until I, started working at sport clubs where I work at now that I, found myself at another college for social media marketing back in 2016 to 2018. Graduated from that. And then I was like, you know what? I want something more, I just need something else to kind of fill my cup. I was needing that like, helping people, like finding like my purpose in this life,
Yeah.
and they actually had a job position open up. And usually it's like you go through all the steps of like stylist, assistant manager, manager, area manager, and then you become what we call us as educators, we call ourselves coaches. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm just like,
Mm.
it's 2018. I just graduated college. Like, I'm trying to find my purpose, and I interviewed and I actually got hired, which was so crazy because I was, a stylist at the time. I didn't have any other leadership experience with them. So I kind of went back a little bit in my experience with sport clubs, but I now have been educating with them for 5 years, and it's been really impactful, not only for me, but I just love seeing like people have those aha moments.
Mhm.
And what really helps me kind of like fuel my passion the most is, when I started to do hair, I struggled a lot with men's hair, especially. And so I really relied on people to help me. And so now I'm like, okay, I've been there. I've had to like study it to figure out how do you do this. And now I'm able to like help others that used to be in my same spot. So really my passion just comes from, that was a long-winded answer, but short
No,
answer, my passion just came from like wanting to help people and just kind of like, find my place in life of like, what can I do to give back?
yeah. And see, I that's what I want. I want you to kind of share so much that you're like, keep sharing. So don't feel, but
Okay.
don't feel like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't share this. Just share it.
Yeah, I'll
This is
tell you right now, the only thing I know how to do good is talk.
exactly.
So,
It's like this, ladies and gentlemen. It's just gonna be some like an hour and a half podcast episode. Uh, no, what I really love that you said is that you knew that kind of there was like a structure, right? Having to build up to get
mm,
to the position that you're at right now, but you decided to just jump for it. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna
mm,
go for it. You feel confident. I got this, and you made it.
mhm,
So this is the stories I like to hear because it's just like you don't always have to follow that one route that you think it's like that
mm,
you need to take. You created your own route, and look at you. You are sharing, you are helping, and it goes back to like this is the stories. This is what I want to hear because I want to do this to help everyone, and you're part of that journey with me now. So
oh, thank you.
I really appreciate sharing those type of stuff. So, and yeah, I feel like every part of life is educating and learning. So you're doing amazing, and keep sharing, keep going on, do your thing and safe.
Thank
um, with that going in with you mentioned social media and the courses that you took. Um, how like do you see that it's like a notice that's like a always changing type of um like social media is always like a changing all the time, and so how do you keep up with like trends and stuff that you share on your profile?
Yeah, so it's kind of like comes with hair too, like hair, styles, clothes, fashion, makeup. Like there's just so many trends that just circle through time, back and forth, back and forth. And, at the end of the day, a trend is just something that someone else wants to do or someone else wants to be a part of. And so
Mhm.
once you get like two or three people on the board on the board with you, then it's like, okay, bet, let's go. This is trending. So it's like,
Yeah.
how can we, make it to be trending is kind of my thought. And so sometimes, you can just see it. Like we're consumers, we are living in the world, we, consume media and arts, and we're around people, especially being a hairstylist. Like I'm around people all the time, at the grocery store. Like you kind of like see the trends like happen. But I think for the most part, in order to keep up with the trends, it really starts with having an open mindset, because sometimes people get stuck in their ways, they get stuck in their like their habits, and they're closed-minded, and they aren't open to the new changes that are coming or
Mm.
the old things that are coming back and so on. And so I really just like to keep up with the trends, because it's just like what's new like right now, like what's fun. And also I like to think like, what can I do to bring my own style to this trend? Like say it's cool, that we're wearing the big baggy jeans right now. Like,
Mhm.
my little sister who's a teenager is really into this, like, big baggy jeans, big baggy t-shirt, which totally fine with me. I mean, if you want to wear a baggy t-shirt over, the crop top that I was trying
Yes.
to wear, go for it. But it's just like, let me tie a knot on one side, or let me, grab a knife and some bleach and, scrape up the pant leg. So it's like, how can I make this like my own brand, but
Yeah.
still be on that trending, topic per se? And I really think that's the money piece. That's where people really, thrive, is, they already have this trending subject, but it's like, what can I do extra to like make it my own? And then people are like, oh, what are they doing? Like, let's be a part of that.
Yeah, and I totally I see it like its history repeats itself, right?
Hmm.
So when you're speaking about baggy, I remember, I mean, it's gonna date me, but I remember that time when I was going in middle school, it was the same thing. It was those baggy pants, baggy
Hmm.
shirts, and now it's coming back, and I feel like, wow, like I never thought it's something that just keeps reoccurring, and I guess
Yeah.
now I could be hip if I pull out one of my old pants from back then. So
How old are you?
I am 33.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did date yourself, huh?
I
I'm
was
just
like,
kidding.
I know, right? I'm like, hold on, I'm like trying to see, and then you forget. I'm like, hold on, well, how many? Let's just say my birthday's in the 1980s, okay? Just kidding.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm there with you.
Oh, so I'm not gonna ask how old you are because you don't.
I
I
will
mean,
gladly tell you, because I do not look my age.
you don't. I thought if you're, I would. Okay, let me guess first. I would say 23.
I said I went to beauty school when I was 23.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Well, you didn't. Wait, are you the same age?
I'm
33?
older actually.
What?
Yeah.
So you found the secret like rejuvenation product or
Oh,
something?
that's my favorite thing to share. This might be off topic,
No,
but
go
let me
ahead.
just tell you, because I know your viewers are really going to want to
Yeah.
know the secret. So I'll be 38 in October.
No way.
Yeah. Let me get up close in
I know.
the camera. Like, I mean, look at this. No,
Just you're so funny.
I'm kidding. But what I tell people, this is what I say. Well, I ask them, I'm like, well, I'll ask you, have you ever seen a McDonald's cheeseburger after 20 years? Have you seen those videos?
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
What the cheeseburger like stays the same, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
like mold. It's kind of gross to think about it, but
Yeah.
there's so much like preservatives in the cheeseburger, it just stays the same, right? So my theory is my mom had me at 17 years old, so I've been eating McDonald's straight out of the womb, and it has preserved me all of these years.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were gonna be like, this is I use this for cleansing. I use
No,
That's
actually, I
good
have
though.
horrible I never wore sunblock or anything. I was out tanning with like Crisco with my sisters on the driveway,
Oh my gosh.
thinking it turns a biscuit brown. So why wouldn't it turn me brown? Yeah,
It-
but no, thank you.
what's funny about me, it's I hate like I've gone to get a haircut before and then I don't like anything on my face. I
Hmm.
don't like towels. I don't like any products on my, so I'm like, okay, the only thing I'll put on is lotion, but that's about it. And so
Yeah,
when they're like, here, try this, or we're doing a new cleanser, I'm like, I'm good, thanks. I love my face. I don't want to break out.
yeah, and you live in Utah, so you better drink a lot of water then, because it's
Yeah,
dry out here.
I know. Oh my gosh, you're so right. uh, okay, now we're going back. Just kidding. Back on track,
Yes,
Coco.
sorry.
You're good. Um, and so you're, and the educator, kind of like content creator. How would you say is effective for networking and collaborating in your what you do?
Oh my gosh, I think that I don't really know. I can't speak on any other careers, but I think it would have something I think it would still like matter because honestly, like networking is so powerful. If you think about what you do and then you think of
Mhm.
someone who just does that, but it's a little bit more well known, like say, an influencer or a celebrity or whatever. It's like I don't think they do anything different per se. Like if I'm looking at someone who's, you know, a like a celebrity stylist per se or whatever, I don't think they cut hair differently because you cut hair, you just cut hair, right?
Mhm.
But what they've done is they've networked and marketed themselves to a point where they've branded it to a larger audience where they've made themselves kind of like more well known to people. And so with the hair industry, it's all about networking. Like even down to the clients, like you have to, rebook and connect and really use those people skills when you're at different like hair shows or events or barber expos, like networking with people. You really never know like what someone has going on in their life, that how they can help you and
Mhm.
vice versa. And so networking is huge. Like I feel like you got to just open your mouth and just say hello and just see what happens from there. But the first step is just walking up to someone and introducing yourself. Everyone should have their 30-second elevator pitch of when you're in the elevator and you only got 30 seconds to go from floor 1 up to floor 10 and you're in there with the CEO of your dream company. What's your
Yeah.
pitch that you're going to say? So yeah, I think it's important. Networking is super important.
Yeah, I think it's like it's funny because at first when I wanted to do this podcast, I'm like I'm nervous. Like, okay, it's not so nervous like virtual for me, but
Mhm.
having someone in person, I'm like, okay, like what am I gonna say? Like, am I doing something with my face? And I feel like just so many thoughts go in, but now
Yeah.
it's like this is so part. Like I don't mind networking, and that's what I do too. Like I want to hear their stories, and there's no other way I'm gonna know about them if I don't reach out to them. You know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are worried about like how they'll look or how, that person will feel about them or maybe they won't like them. Like they let those negative, thoughts kind of enter their mind. But at the end of the day, we are in a very me, selfish time of the world right now. And so I promise nobody's looking or caring about anybody's looks but their own. And
Yeah.
so I don't think that should really stop anyone. I think that, they should feel empowered to just say hello. And that's how we met. I mean, I was taking pictures with someone who does your hair. She was
Yeah.
taking pictures for my Instagram content. And she was like, you know what? I think you'd be a great person on, my client's podcast. And here we are.
Yeah.
So it's
And
like,
correct. And I feel like it's also my part too, right? Because like even though like Peyton was like, hey, like this person would be great to have on, but it's like I don't want them to do the work for me. I want to be able to reach out and be
mhm.
like, hey, and if you, let's say she said yeah, and you said yeah to Peyton, but then you turn around like, hey, Coco, do you want to be on there? No. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. Like, but yeah, and it's I take rejection like now without feeling so bad. I'm like, okay, like
Mhm.
they got something going on. Like you say, you don't know what person's going through, so just take it and then just do something else or reach out to someone else. So yeah, and I love networking. I love talking to. I feel like this conversation and I want to make it more natural. We're just having a
Hmm.
conversation like how we would talk if we were to meet in an elevator, you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
um, but so how is it that you have someone as a client comes in? How do you personalize what they like? So what personalize? Sorry, see there we go. What personal? How do you add your own personal touch to a client's like hairstyle or look?
Yeah. Well, first off, I mean, not too many people can say they're getting their hair cut at Sport Clips with rainbow colored hair. So me and my own branding and like the style and who I am, I think is a personal touch. But I really believe that when you're working with someone, whether it's behind the chair or, behind a computer or behind a cash register or whatever, behind a camera, it's all about that experience that you create for them. People, are wanting that experience, that, the human experience, the feel good experience, tell me your why, tell me your story kind of experience. And so at the end of the day, sometimes I just am just me. I just, I'll ask them some questions and kind of get the conversation started. And then, just organically, I'll have a conversation with them and we get to know each other within that, 30-minute time span of a haircut. And so my personal touch is kind of just like who I am already. And they're just
Hmm.
interested in that because I'm originally from Indiana. And so I have a pretty cool story where I came from Indiana not knowing anyone when I moved here in 2014. And I moved to Utah not knowing anyone. I don't have any family
Hmm.
here. And whenever clients would be like, "Are you from here?" I would say, "No, I'm originally from Indiana." They would ask like how I got here and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I would tell them, and then they would request me, but they wouldn't ever remember my name at first. They would just say, "That girl from
Yeah.
Indiana,"
No.
And so it's like my story kind of was like my own personal touch. But, like I mentioned already before, I think, your personal touch is just something different. So, on a technical side of things, like I'm very detail oriented. I want to make sure like there's no hair behind my client's ears. I want to make sure there's no like flyaways, on like their shaved line. I want to make sure they have texture and their style. And I'm very educational and informative on, what they should do with their hairstyle. And so, me and my passions and what I love personally kind of just adds my personal touch, I guess, to my clients' experience with me.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I never actually thought about um how my style I mean my barber, I'm not a stylist. But my barber is like what makes him unique. And now I feel heartbroken because I used to have someone I would always go to, and then like they left, and so I'm like, I even told Peyton now I just go whoever's available, and
Yeah.
I'm not your barber number 3, 4, and 5 because you broke my heart. But
Yeah.
but I like that you mentioned that what makes you unique is like you made from Indiana, but now also the way you style, your
Hmm.
colorful hair, and I think that's makes it so someone can be like remember you, and hopefully they remember your name. But I know not everybody's good with remembering names.
Yeah. I used to think that names weren't as important because if you think about it, like we'll remember everything that we connect with. Like, oh, we went to the same school together, we're from the same state, we like the same football team, rather than the name. But now as I've gotten older, I'm like, your name is very unique and it is important.
Hmm.
So I'm always trying to remember people's names too. But yeah, no one ever did. Well, and I also wasn't called Coco. They called me Colleen because that's my real name.
Oh yeah.
But now everyone knows me as Coco. So now the name is catchy. So it's like the chick from Indiana named Coco. I mean,
Yeah.
they're never going to forget me.
Wait, that's you created your own. That's your own branding. That's you, Coco, and unless you decide otherwise, I'll call you Coco. Unless you tell me
Yeah,
don't
there
call me
you
Coco
go.
anymore. um, what's how how do you are I know we talked about trends with like um the styling and stuff like that, but how do you also stay on top of like social media?
Okay,
Like,
well, I've been a social media consumer since MySpace. I was even like detailing my AOL chat, the little messages about
yeah.
I'll be back. So
Now,
I
it's so real quick. Now I believe you that you're not. Because I also had AOL. But anyways, continue.
now you believe me, I'm
Yeah.
37, almost 38. But yeah, so I've used social media myself for, until like since day one. And the first thing that intrigued me about social media was how you were able to use, such a small, thing, computer, phone,
Mhm.
whatever platform, and you had so much connection with a large amount of people, so much like, influence and just, communication and the bond and stuff. Like I'm connecting with people from like high school and stuff on social media. And like things like that are really just what intrigues me. So something that I'm intrigued with, I'm going to want to know more about. And
Mhm.
so I really, wanted to go to school for, I actually wanted to go for business because I've always wanted to like do something with business, but marketing really just struck a chord with me. And so I went to school for that and I emphasized in social media. And when I graduated, that's what I thought I was going to do basically. But it's really just helped me brand myself, behind the chair and as a person and just through my life and sharing my story and stuff. But at the end of the day, social media is moves like as fast as everything else does. Like,
Mhm.
everything I learned in school, it's not really relevant to what social media is now. It's like, I want to go back and tell those teachers, I'm like, you should really change the curriculum to be
Yeah.
not really the skill set of like, this is how you do this on Facebook, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's go a little bit more because everything's different now. But anyways, I just like to keep up with it because it's important to me to stay connected with people. And so I'm going to put more like interest into the platform, I guess, that I'm using. And I'm really lucky. Like I haven't experienced, what some people, might experience of like comparison or, thinking they're, I don't know, like thinking their, life is better or worse or, whatever. Like
Mhm.
I'm fortunate that I never really experienced that because, I'm just on there and, you know, I just want to like share my story to like be like, you know what, I've been through this. Let me help you,
Yeah.
through whatever you're going through. And so it's kind of like my outlet. And a lot of people use it as an outlet too. But at the end of the day, I just keep up with it by just using it. Like everyone always comes to me and they're like, tell me how to do this, tell me how to do that. And I'm like, I didn't really learn it from anywhere. I just did it, or
Yeah.
you got on YouTube University or
Yeah.
Google Academy.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And that's what I want people to know. It's like you don't have to it just takes a bit of your time, yeah, to learn it, but it's great once you figure it out, and then for you to
Mhm,
turn around and be like, well, this is how it's done, because there's stuff that I feel like I'm not 100% sure with social media, but then I see different people, different styles,
mhm,
and now like I was able to decide, you know what, I need a break from the podcast, and that's why I broke it down to from season.
mhm.
But this second season, it's more of like improved thumbnails, improved intros, outros,
Yeah,
and stuff like that, that is developed from like the beginning, like how I started and how you even asked me how, is it that I started the podcast. And it's like,
yeah,
I just learned Google, YouTube, and here I
yeah,
am.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. Yeah, you just got to jump into it for sure.
Yeah. And it's either take it or you don't, but this is my own, style that I like to do.
Yeah,
I'm branding myself.
there you
uh,
go. Yes.
yeah. Um, Now going back, and I'm going back and forth because I want to hear both the content creator you, but also like the stylist and educator you,
Hmm.
both. When someone comes up to you and they want to be able to perfect their hairstylist or their barber experience, like what do you tell them?
So, like, if they're wanting like help,
Yeah, like help, and they want to be like they see your work and they're like, how can I get to where you're at?
okay. Well, I tell them, when you get there, let me know because I'm still trying to figure it out. you know? But no, my whole thing, with my leadership style and kind of like who I am as an educator is no one really is going to give, two craps about what you have to tell them or what you're trying to teach them unless they know that you care about them. So
Hmm.
first and foremost, I always try to like lead with love and compassion and just try to put myself in their shoes. And I never want to like come off with like, this attitude of, oh, I'm better than you, or, why are you even asking me? Like, I never want to have that like vibe at all, because at the end of the day, like I never like people will come up to me and they'll like say these nice things to me, or they'll, comment, or they'll private message me like saying like how much I helped them in their career or whatever. And I don't see myself that way. Like I just see myself like just like them, like just cutting hair, And so I've really kind of kept myself in that learner mentality. And I think that showing people that I'm just like them and I've been where they have been, if you're willing to put in the work, you're going to succeed. Like it's not, rocket science to put in the work and not have good things come. They might not be what you want to come, but they're
Yeah.
going to come. Like you're going to benefit from the work you put in. And so I'm really open to having people, come up to me and ask me about things. I'm always, excited to help them, because a lot of the times you think, the things we go through in life, when you experience trials and like hardships and pains and stuff, I almost feel like I need to find like a purpose for that. And so at the end of the day, like when I go through something hard, I'm like, you know what? I went through something hard. It sucked, but I was able to help someone because of it. And it just makes it kind of worth, I guess, a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just really just, I offer advice. I first ask them what they want help. What do they want help with? And, I give a lot of like suggestions of what helps me. Of maybe it's just content creators that I follow, different educators like on YouTube. I ask them kind of like what are they struggling with, and just kind of get to know them and talk to them a little bit more and see how I can help them, I guess, is what I really like to do, because everyone learns differently, everyone vibes differently, everyone struggles with different technical skills. And so you can't teach someone the same, you can't teach multiple people the same thing. You have to
Yeah.
like really cater it to them. So
Yeah. That's all. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I'm over here like just taking it in. I'm like, hold up, wait, what?
I told you I'm a talker, man. What up?
No, it's all good. Like I need to, because I'm like, because I could be like, maybe I was in that mindset where it's like I feel like you can just teach everyone the same thing and you're said and done, but you go even more further where you're like, no, you need to like make it specifically for them,
Oh
for them
yeah.
to kind of,
Uh-huh.
so it's all good.
Yeah, totally. Because people like because I teach classes, I work at a
Yeah.
training center, and I'll have, a room full of stylists, and they're all different. They're all different, like advancement levels. They're all different personality levels, and so it's like, how can you find that middle ground to connect with everyone, even though they're so different? And at first I just try to form that connection by just letting them know, like, I'm not here to teach you like how to cut hair. I'm not here to teach you to, be like me. I just want to share my experiences with you. And I want you to gravitate what you want from it, or use what you can to better yourself behind the chair, is kind of, where I go with
Yeah.
my teaching.
Awesome. Geez. Hold up, Coco. Pause it. No, just kidding. No. You're like, what's going on? Might be my Claritin that just kicked in. I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
My allergies are bad, but no. What's what kind of could you say what is the key to success for and it can be one, either like the stylist or the content creator, but what is one key to success that you can share for someone starting in either or both?
The key to success, in my opinion, and this is across the board with everyone, I
Okay.
think, is consistency. Like you can't rely on your skill, you can't rely on your motivation, you can't rely on your passion per se, because your skills will either grow old, or maybe aren't there yet. Your passion will change with kind of like the weather of the day, or if you're having a bad day or a good day. And you can't really go off of motivation, because unless you're a robot, like there's just some days we're going to have to take a little rest, and you can't go on all four cylinders. But if you're consistent in everything you do, that is going to be the answer to your success. So, you know, showing up for yourself every day, like making sure you get what you want to do done in that day, be consistent with it. That's really the key to success with anything. And it's been what has been successful in my life, because at the end of the day, when I don't want to go to work, or when I am having like a super hard trial go on, or, you know, I'm not
Mhm.
feeling motivated, I still have to do the things I want to do and be consistent. And then the success will come after, you know, it's like the gym, you know, you can't rely on, you know, your motivation to go to the gym or your passion. It's like, no, it's like I'm brushing my teeth. I've built this habit every
Yeah.
single day of getting up in the morning and brushing my teeth. So now I'm going to build this habit of, you know, doing this one thing that's going to be better for my career or personal life or mental health or whatever. Like, you just have to be consistent, and, you know, consistency, resiliency, like those are really hand in hand to me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, see, I like that you mentioned that because for me, it's always like, oh, be passionate, but without the consistency of it, I never thought about your passion can just. I mean, I guess not fizzle, but it can just decide to just take a break from it in a way, and
Well,
it's really, yeah. Go ahead.
sometimes your passion, you know, can be altered because of something else that happened. Because, you know, one thing I'll share with you is 2 years ago, my sister passed away unexpectedly, and I could not work. Like, I was just out. You know, with that being said, I mean, I did have some, I think I took like 3 or 4 weeks off. And when I
Mhm.
started to come back to work, it was hard for me, because as an educator, you have to be like fun and outgoing and positive, and I'm just like, that is not me. And so, if anyone who's experienced grief, the hardest thing about grief is kind of like moving on back into like daily routine of things once you know, go lose someone, you know, so like abrupt like that. And so I didn't have my passion was still there to teach and do hair, because I love teaching and do hair. I just physically couldn't do it because I just wasn't there mentally, you know, spiritually.
Mhm.
I just was like such like big grief that all I could do was cut hair. So all I did was cut hair for, you know, a few months until I was able to, you know, bring myself to, you know, and I had to choose ultimately to allow my passion to help me get through my grief and be like, you know what, it's because of this trial that I am more passionate about teaching and education and, you know, the hair industry. But that consistency had to start first, because my passion was still there, but ultimately my emotions took over with, you
Mhm.
know, a large loss like that, you know, it was there, but it wasn't enough. It was just the consistency that had to keep me in the game.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez. Oh my gosh. And and I'm sorry for your loss, and it's but it's great that how this story that you shared, because it's letting other people know who have gone through that to know it's okay, and this is how I was able to overcome it, and continue and be consistent with it. So
Yeah, totally. I'm probably got enough episodes for your whole season.
I know
So
I'm gonna bring you for next season.
I'm just kidding.
You- You're
I'm
like,
just
I am
kidding.
doing this now. And I'm like, okay. So
No,
it's no. And the thing is too, like I like the whole in person, because I'm not saying that it just feels that more kind of like seeing in person, knowing that it's not just about the episode. I'm not here to be like, thanks, Coco. I'll see you never. It's because I want to be like you are. I'm building like a great community of like individuals who really um are just very creative in their way and very insightful, and being able to share their story. And I'm sure by season 3, like I'll switch what the whole meaning of that podcast is for, but I still want it to be like visions, because it starts with something that you want to do, and then it becomes into a venture where, yeah, it
yeah.
might be risky, but it's also something that if you don't take that risk, you'll never know exactly what would have happened.
And your visions change. You might have the
Yeah.
same, you know, adventure per se, but your vision of it changes throughout your life. I really like
Mhm.
your podcast handle. I think it's cool.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was like so much thinking, like, what do I want to say? What do I want to do? Like, what is it? This, you know?
And
And
that's the
I'm like,
hardest thing. Your branding, your handle, like your little like tagline, like that is the hardest thing. So kudos to you because Ventures Visions to Ventures is very catchy. So it's
yeah,
a good
I
one.
I appreciate it. I hope like it captures what I really want it to be about. And so hearing this good like comments or just feedback that I get, it just makes me continue and knowing like I'm doing the right thing, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I'm slowly working on some branding for like logos and stuff like that that I want to be able to do, and that way I can go up to someone and make it easier for me to like network and be like, oh yeah, this is what I do, this is what it is, and just so much. So I'm excited to for this second season to just do everything that I've learned so far
Mm-hmm.
and just make it more like something that's gonna catch people's attention. And the one thing I like to also say is like, I am thankful for like those guests that do come in and knowing like, hey, this is something that's starting off, but it's something that I know I'm going to continue doing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
building that connection, that friendship. So
Yeah,
yes,
totally.
yeah, um, yeah, cool. See, I
Well,
feel like what's that?
give me your swag when you get it. Start off with some stickers.
Okay, I will for sure. I got some yeah, for sure. Thank you. Um what let me see. Let me hear what exciting plans or future projects do you have coming
Oh
near
my gosh,
you?
that I- did you ask that question because of my social media, or is that just like a normal question to ask?
That- It's a normal question that I gotta ask.
Okay, because I am like super hyper focused and obsessed this year with, going to like hair shows and like barber
Mhm,
expos and stuff. And what's so crazy is, I shared a little bit about like my sister dying. My sister died in April 2021. So, I mean, last year was just like a rebuilding,
mhm.
phase or whatever. But this year, new year in January, I'm like, this is about to be all my fun.
Yeah.
And I won two work trips. So I get to go to the Bahamas in September on a cruise
Okay.
for work. And I won like an $8,000 travel voucher from work. Yeah. So I'm gonna plan a trip to go with my family to the Outer Banks, the East Coast.
Oh my gosh.
So I have those going on. But as far as like me and my personal development, I'm really into right now, like going to all these expos, like traveling the country, like meeting people. And it's expensive. So like my thing on social media, that's why I asked if you've seen it, is like I'm over here eating like beans and rice and tortillas and stuff, like living off, ramen noodles, trying to afford like all my dreams of traveling this summer. But I'm just really just, all about just, networking like you talked about already in the
Mhm.
beginning, and just meeting people and just learning. And I had the experience to go to one in Connecticut back in May, and it was just so fun. And I was just
Yeah.
like, you know what? This is me in my prime. And I was just like, let me have more of it. And I was just like, okay. So now I'm going to Texas and Colorado in July, and then Arizona in August. So that's what's coming up. And then some other ones in the fall. So
Awesome.
that's what I'm doing. Just traveling the country like I'm a world-class traveler, eating rice and beans.
Anyways, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to make it happen, you know. So
Yeah.
no, and I this question that I asked you, I did start off in the beginning, and then I kind of didn't ask it anymore because I'm like maybe they don't want to share what they're doing and stuff like that. But I'm like, I think it's still part of like you know your experience, your life, like because the way I see it, the projects that you coming up, it's like you evolving into you might these trips that you're taking, you're gonna see something that you like and you bring it into your content creator person that you are and stuff like that. So anyways, that's what I'm like rambling about now, but anyways, that's kind of like what I like to hear.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Because, what I like to do on my social media is build others up, build their confidence up behind the chair or just in life, really. And I need to have my cup full in order to do that for others. And so these, trips and stuff really help fill me up and keep me inspired and creative
Mhm.
to put out more content. And, you never want to stay like stagnant in your career. Like you always want to keep shooting for, what's more. And I'm always like hungry, like, give
Mhm.
me more.
No, I agree. Awesome, Coco.
It
And it just so comes out natural. Coco. Sorry if I.
comes with a little, you had like a little dance like
I
Coco.
know.
I met this little kid yesterday or the other day, and it was on live. One of my friends was on live and his daughter was there, and she's like, that's a name in a movie. I'm like,
Oh
Mama
yeah, I
Coco.
totally forgot about that.
I know, it was like my prime. Everyone knew about Coco then.
Oh, oh my gosh. Geez. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I'm like Claritin, making me all. Um, this is so much fun. Telling you. But hold on. I'm getting thirsty. 1 second. I'm gonna have to edit this anyways. It's whatever.
You're so funny. I think you should keep the bloopers.
And I do. That's what I was saying. I like to keep it as natural as possible because I
Hmm.
want people to know I make mistakes and this is, like who I am. But honestly, this is the Claritin speaking right now. I'm just kidding.
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
um, I was gonna say, what advice would you give to everyone out there? Like I said, I don't want it to just be like entrepreneurs. It's stylists and content creators, but just anyone. What advice would you want to leave off to everyone here that's listening and viewing?
Yeah, normally I would just like, spill something off, a Hallmark card or a Google
Yeah.
Meet or something. But recently, I really have had like the biggest aha moment of my life. And in short terms, I'll share. I wanted to, go for this job opportunity in November of last year. And I worked really hard for it. And I almost like, I felt like I was being me, but I felt like I was being a version of me that they would want to hire. And I gave it like my all. And then whenever I didn't get it, I was crushed because I was like, oh my gosh, I worked really hard. Like, I didn't understand, why they wouldn't want, like, why, they didn't see the growth or they didn't see the passion. Like, I was just so heartbroken. And it took me a while to like sit and reflect. And now looking back, like it's been, 6, 7, 8 months or so, I'm like, I need to be 100% me 100% of the time.
Mm,
And, I struggle with, growing up with like divorced parents, and that whole, I'm not enough kind of mentality. And a lot of people, I think, feel that way sometimes because it's like when things happen, that's the first thing you think, like, well, why am I not enough? And
mhm.
so my whole branding that I've just started, coming up with like my swag. I know you're talking about your little like logo swag and
Yeah.
stuff, but I just got some stuff made and my tagline was be you and do it on purpose because at the end of the day, this is cliche to say, but nobody can be you. And so it's
Mhm.
like you want to be successful, the only thing you can do is be you because people are going to want that individuality, that diversity. They're not going to want to hire the same, you know, plain Jane or, for lack of a better words, person they've been hiring all these years. Like they
Yeah.
want to hire, they're looking for someone new and they're looking
Mhm.
for you. And if you being you is, someone they're looking for, then you're going to fit like the job description, or you're going to get the job, or you're going to get the promotion, or whatever you're
Yeah.
going for in life. And if not, then, you keep going because I think it's so special that we stay true to who we are. And, I'm 37 years old and I think I've struggled with that my whole life, my 20s and early 30s of just trying to be different versions of what people wanted me to be. And it's like, you know what? I need to take a step back. And this whole experience, that I had 6 to 7 months ago made me realize that. 'Cause it's like, let me take a step back. Let me see who I am and let me just be me. And
Yeah.
it's been really, rewarding actually, because I might have not got that, job back last year in the fall, but I have had so many opportunities and doors open
Mm-hmm.
just recently where it's like it wouldn't have happened if it wouldn't have happened without that no, or it wouldn't have happened with out me just embracing who I am. And
Yeah.
so embracing my different color hair, embracing just who I am and being different, and letting people know that we're all just human. And a lot of people will say like, how can you be so genuine, how can you be so confident who you are? And my response to them is like, why not? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not going to be you, who's going to be you? Like, you almost
Correct.
owe it to yourself. It's like a duty or an obligation to be who you are. And so that's my big like tagline for everyone lately
Be
is
you.
like, you need to be you, and like do it on purpose is kind of the thing I've been adding to, because it's like, be you and do it on purpose. I don't know. I just think that's so powerful, because why would you want to be someone else,
Yep. And I agree, and I love that. It's like, be you. I wish I had one. I want to come up with my own tagline now.
You do visions
Yeah.
to ventures.
Well, yes, but that's part of the name of the podcast. So I'm gonna come up with something and then send it to you and be like, "What do you think?"
Okay, yeah. You can get like some sunglasses and put like some mountains in the background. Visions to ventures.
Okay. All right. We'll talk later.
By the way, I'm a graphic designer on the side. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, "Are you?" No, I
No, I'm just kidding.
I like to learn from everyone, and I like the input. So, anyways, yeah, I like your BU, and yeah, that's awesome. And then last but not least, I like to give some time. I know, I giving you time already, but just gonna give you more time
Yeah,
to
I'm
share.
like, I mean,
Your time is up. So you got like 2 minutes. Not just kidding. No,
yeah.
this is your time to share your what does young people say these days, your plug, like where you share what kind of people can find you,
Oh, my
your
plug.
your social media. I'm probably saying it wrong, but whatever, I don't care. But this time you to input, social media, if you have, so including TikTok or whatever else you have, where they can find you, and if you have anything else that you want to share. That's his, yeah, Coco time.
Okay. Two
Coco time.
minutes. 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Coco time. I should do a podcast like that. Coco time. Tea with Coco.
See, you're welcome.
Okay, yeah. So I'm on all platforms. It's just Coco did my hair is kind of like my tagline on Instagram, on TikTok, Venmo, Coco did my hair. No.
Okay. Do you want
Um
to?
but yeah, Coco did my hair. I'm on Facebook too, but it's just Colleen Marie. I don't know if that's beneficial to anybody, but I mean, I don't really, if people want to follow me, they can. I think that at the end of the day, I want people to do what's going to be beneficial for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to put out content that is going to be beneficial. Like, I used to post all about me, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm sure it's nice and all that people who know my story like to see the success and stuff, and they follow me. But people who I just meet, if they see my stuff, they're probably like, who's this chick? Why is she so full of herself, And so it's
Yeah.
like, I really try to give something back, to be like, if you're gonna take the time to follow me and watch my content, it's like, are you laughing? Are you inspired? Are you
Mm.
crying? Did you learn something? It's kind of like my mentality. And so if anyone wants to have any of those four things above, then they can check me out. But you're so funny, the plug, yeah. I guess
Yeah.
that's my plug. I don't really have a plug to plug. I'm just like, you do
Well, you
you.
did
If
it.
you want to follow me, it's Coco did my hair.
Coco did my hair. I like it. No. Well, Coco, I want to say I appreciate it. I feel like it was, just an awesome conversation, and it was some, great information that you shared. I want to thank you for your time. And Coco did not do my hair, but maybe someday, and I'll be on there. And I want it to be like, what do you call it, pinned on your social
Hmm.
media. So that's
Yeah.
gonna happen. I'll reach out. We'll chat later.
Right. Yeah. No, thank
No,
you. I appreciate you having me. I think that it's really cool that you have people on here to share their visions to ventures.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. And again, viewers and listeners out there, this is Visions to Venture, your host, Javier, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call me. And season 2 is going to be released July 24th. So be on the lookout. And thank you so much.